Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Hour on GBC24, the all news channel. We're also live on GTV. And please pardon us for the late start of the news. It was due to circumstances beyond our control. As crude oil prices continue to crash on the international market, the President Muhammadu Buhari administration has devised strategies to underline its resolve to look beyond oil revenue to implement the 2016 6 trillion Naira budget. Their strategies derive their strength partly from big revenue generating government agencies. We are still having challenges with our system, and so we will pause for now. We'll bring you the late news. Government proposes a reduction in 15% withholding tax. And Kenyan warplanes bombard Al-Shabaab strongholds in Somalia. Thank you for joining us. This is News Tonight on GBC24 and GTV with Conrad Kakraba. As crude oil prices continue to crash on the international market, the President Muhammadu Buhari administration has devised strategies to underline its resolve to look beyond oil reserve and revenues to implement the 2016 6.4 trillion Naira budget. The strategies derive their strength partly from big revenue generating government agencies.
These agencies include the Nigeria Customs Service, the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, the Federal Inland Revenue Services, and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agencies, among others. They will no longer draw their expenditure at source. They will remit them into the Consolidated Revenue Account, while their expenditure will be captured in the Appropriation Act. A bill along this line is in the making and will be transmitted to the National Assembly for passage into law. Furthermore, there will be an overhauling of Nigeria's tax regime with a view to hugely enhance income without hurting the poor, such that loopholes and leakages in the previous system will be blocked. The 2016 budget is premised on $38 per barrel oil benchmark, a calculation many commentators on the document have described as infeasible considering the free fall in oil prices since last year. By last week, crude prices on the market had fallen below $28 per barrel, and with the imminent return of Iran to the global oil market, oil industry analysts have predicted that the price could slump to less than $20 a barrel before the year ends.
The government is to withdraw the 1% tax on interest for individuals and also reduce the 15% withholding tax on services to 7.5%. The Deputy Finance Minister, Mrs. Mona Kote, who disclosed this in Ho at the 2016 Management Retreat of the Ghana Revenue Authority, said a proposal has been sent to the Office of the Speaker of Parliament in this regard. This was a forum for the Ghana Revenue Authority to review implementation of the 2015-2017 Ghana Revenue Authority Strategic Plan. Management also discussed past performance, charted the way forward to strengthen team spirit for the year. The Commissioner General of the GRA, Mr. George Blankson, said the authority exceeded its target in revenue collection by 2.9%. He was also upbeat about better revenue collection for this year. The authority has been charged to collect a revenue target of 27.59 billion Ghana cedis.
The 2015 revenue performance shows a revenue growth of 5.01 billion over and above our performance for the previous year. In other words, we collected 29.3% over and above what we collected in the year 2014.
The Paramount Chief of Petwe, Togwi Kotoku, is asking the authority and the Ghana Education Service to introduce tax education in schools to create the awareness at an early stage. The Deputy Minister for Finance, Mrs. Mona Kote, commended the authority for exceeding their set target and urged them to meet their 2016 collection target. She says the government was not oblivious of the concerns of the public about the recent taxes, including the New Income Tax Act 2015, Act 896.
It is not the intention of government to unduly burden the citizenry with a plethora of taxes, but to raise the required revenue to pursue our development agenda and to meet the ever-increasing legitimate demands of the people of Ghana. Proposals have already been sent to the Speaker of Parliament to withdraw the 1% tax on interest for individuals and also to reduce the 15% withholding tax on services to 7.5%.
GRE says it has become necessary to rebrand the authority. A new logo and brand manual guidelines are soon to be launched. To sensitize stakeholders of the GANAP 1325 project for its effective implementation has taken place in Kumasi. GANAP 1325 is a national action plan developed to recognize the needs, rights, and experiences, as well as the role of women in the areas of armed conflict, peace building, and peacekeeping for sustained national development.
With Ghana as a member of the United Nations, the plan was developed in line with the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 to address national and transnational security, peace, and women's rights and empowerment. The participants were from the various security agencies, National Peace Council, as well as the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. The consensus was for tolerance, especially ahead of the 2016 polls, to avoid pre-election and post-election violence that has thrown many African countries off track. The acting Ashanti Regional Director of the Department of Gender and Social Welfare, Ms. Augustina Jemfi, said to further enhance the effective implementation of the project, an inter-ministerial body made up of key security agencies will soon be constituted. She said Ghana had over the past few years had her share of intrastate conflicts and called on all, especially women, to help successfully implement the plan. She said this is because women constitute a higher percentage of the vulnerable in society who suffer during conflict periods. A gender and peace consultant and resource person, Ms. Euphemia Jato, said the Ghana National Plan 1325 is critical in negotiating and advocating for peace. It is also necessary to demand political accountability and also protect the rights of women and girls. She stressed the need for tolerance and respect for each other's views to avoid misunderstanding and conflict. These have far-reaching consequences for current and future generations.
Waste management company Zoomlion will distribute dustbins to every household this year to ensure that no waste finds its way into drains or water bodies in the country. This is part of efforts to encourage all to dispose of waste properly before the rains set in. The executive chairman of the Just Born Group of Companies, Mr. Joseph Xiao Japan, made this known at a leadership conference in Accra.
The Just Born Group of Companies has over 40 subsidiaries, including the giant waste management entity Zoomlion. Over the past decade, Zoomlion has been the biggest and most reliable waste management company in Ghana. It has been an annual ritual for the purely African holding company, the Just Born Group, to hold a conference to take stock of its activities and thank God for his support. 15 national and international leaders, including university lecturers, bank executives, and religious leaders, attended the conference and gave inspirational talks to workers of the companies. It was to instill in them leadership qualities and values of discipline and commitment to excellent service delivery. The chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Dr. Opoku Onyina, said sometimes workers do not work with commitment but always demand a rise in their pay. He said the situation calls for a leadership that can inspire people to give of their best. He described the leader of the Just Point Group as one such leader. There was an exhibition of activities of the over 40 companies within the fold of the Just Point Group. The executive chairman of the Just Point Group of Companies, Dr. Joseph Kwame Siawi Japon, said the goal of the company is to see an improvement in their services all the time.
Promise to deliver about 1 million business. Make sure that
the Infantipim Old Boys Association MOBA has launched its 140th anniversary at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center at Teshi. The old students reflected on past achievements and planned for the future of their school.
The 140th anniversary of MOBA, with a theme Contributing to Nationalism and Meritocracy for National and Global Development, was launched on Saturday. The launch was attended by all students from 1956 to 2016. Representatives from the alumni of Adesadel College, St. Augustine's, Holy Child, Evantsman, Wesley Girls and Ghana National College, all second cycle schools from the central region, took turns to congratulate their counterparts. The president of MOBA, Captain Paul Fojo, stated that the current executives will be devoted to transforming MOBA to become one of the most efficient second cycle alumni in the country.
It is a bold attempt by the association to reposition itself to achieve the basic goals of a high-performing human resource base. It comes with a revised policy driven by a clear vision and also a concise mission statement from which emanate 4 objectives with corresponding strategies and respective action plans or activities. The first objective is to transform MOBA into the most efficient second cycle alumni association in Ghana by 2017.
Captain Fojo further went on to congratulate the efforts of the school administration and said an exchange program between the Queen's College in the UK and the Infantipim School will be inaugurated.
It's been 2 decades after completing school, and the Bishop Herman Old Boys Union and the past Ola Girls Association have said thank you to their alma mater by renovating some structures in poor shape in the school.
The classroom block with the inscription Sicut Miles Christi, meaning as a soldier of Christ, was built over 60 years ago. Due to lack of renovation over the years, the architectural design of the building has deteriorated. The 1995 year group therefore decided to give back to the alma mater by renovating the building. The group had earlier handed over a renovated pantry to the Ola Girls Senior High School at a cost of 12,000 Ghana cedis. The president of Bishop Herman Old Boys Union 1995 year group, Roland Agbozo, commended teachers of the school for their commitment. The president of the past Ola Girls Association, POGA 1995 year group, Mrs. Matilda Jomeku, urged other year groups to come to the aid of the school.
A solemn ceremonial parade to mark the 71st anniversary of the Battle of Mayang has taken place in Takoradi. It was jointly organized by the 2nd Battalion of Infantry of the Ghana Armed Forces and the Veterans Association of Ghana.
The 23rd day of January each year marks the Battle of Mayang, which was fought by the Royal West African Frontier Force during the Second World War in 1945. The force was made up of units from Nigeria, the Gold Coast, now Ghana, Sierra Leone and the Gambia. The battle was gallantly fought by representatives from the 4 West African colonies, and they emerged victorious. Much as the battle was won, it was not without serious sacrifices, including the loss of lives of the gallant soldiers. It is in the light of this that a ceremony is held annually in remembrance of the fallen heroes. The ceremony attracted a number of dignitaries and members of the general public. It was full of military rites. There was the piling of drums and laying of colours, with the national and military flags flying at half-mast. minute's silence was observed in remembrance of the departed soldiers, after which the last post was sounded in their honor. Earlier in a short service, the Deputy Western Regional Minister, Mr. Alfred Ekojan, took the Bible reading for the ceremony. Christian and Muslim prayers were said for the departed souls. Then came on an impressive march past by the veterans and serving soldiers.
Character, Anointing, Power and Prosperity CAP Outreach Missions has hosted its maiden Women of Virtue Conference, one that seeks to teach and promote virtues which sustain families and build nations. The wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda and Mr. Arthur, who was the guest of honor, asked the women to see themselves as vital links in the family chain in the home, community and the nation at large.
Though the aim of CAP Outreach Missions is to train, guide, mentor and empower young people in godliness, it also believes in equipping parents, especially mothers, to whom God has entrusted these young ones. So at the Women of Virtue Conference, under the theme Virtues that Sustain Family and Build Nation, Christian women from diverse religious denominations gathered for the event for uplifting messages inspired by the Word of God. The founder and leader of CAP Outreach Missions, Apostle Dr. Alex Kweku Nkrumah, pointed out that every woman, like Ruth in the Bible, has a specific purpose to accomplish on earth.
As a woman, those virtues that God has put in you mandate you to see God in every situation. Ruth said, "Your God will be my God," and that woman sustained the family of David.
The wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda and Mr. Arthur, challenged Christian women to develop themselves so that they can build their homes, communities, and the nation at large.
The Christian life is like a bank. You go and deposit. If you love, you deposit. You are humble, you deposit. You do an act that the Lord approves, you deposit. You live ethically, you deposit. You live truthfully, you deposit. You are above integrity. You are a person who is honest. You don't cut corners. You stand up for him. The Lord adds to your deposit. In times of trouble, in times of distress, that is where the Lord picks up and holds you.
She appealed to mothers not to cover up wrongdoings of their children, but rather reprimand them. This, she said, would help inculcate in them a sense of moral responsibility, discipline, and godliness. She stressed that this would help them always find their way to God. Theodora Medeto, GBC24, Accra.
Another 168 hours, 7 days, several activities, and of course, lots of decisions just gone by. And news during the week may have directly or indirectly determined the course of your activities as well. And at the threshold of another working week, we quickly recap some events in pictures. You're watching News Tonight on GBC24. The Ghana Methodist Guild has new officers to help give spiritual and moral direction to its members. At an event at Tema St. Paul Methodist Church in Community 1, 13 elected national executives officially took the oath of office. In attendance were members and executives of the Methodist Church from across the country.
In 1896, the Methodist Guild first started in Great Britain and established a mother guild in Cape Coast in 1899. The guild mobilizes church members for activities including training them for leadership. In his message, the Bishop of the Tema Methodist Diocese, Reverend spoke about servant leadership. He mentioned the essence of servant leadership as service and not status. Reverend Forson encouraged the new executives to be God-fearing and emulate the qualities of Jesus Christ. The newly elected president of the guild, Mr. Jonathan Bassau, told GBC24 that the theme for this year is Witnessing to Christ, the role of the Methodist Guild and its social impact. He said this defines their roles to equip themselves for social evangelism. He reminded members of their duty to the suffering, the deprived, the sick, and the neglected. He added that the peace in Ghana must not be taken for granted, but everyone must talk, preach, and practice peace before, during, and after the 2016 election.
The Executive Secretary of the National Teaching Council of the Ministry of Education, Dr. Augustine Tavia, says it is important for children to obtain education that prepares them for all aspects of life. This, he said, should be premised on very good moral values. Dr. Tavia said this during a workshop to train facilitators on how best to impart good moral education in students in second cycle schools. It was also to encourage the students to take World Bible School correspondence courses to enable them to emulate the tenets of Jesus Christ.
The workshop, which was organized by the World Bible School in collaboration with Partners in Religious Education Project, was attended by representatives of 18 senior high schools in the country. The Executive Secretary of the National Teaching Council of the Ministry of Education, Dr. Augustine Tavia, said education is designed to prepare every aspect of human life. The Ministry of Education therefore continues to partner religious bodies to offer holistic education to Ghanaians.
People are going to school today as a vocation of making sure he studies accounting and he can get a job in an accounting firm and get what? Money. So if your education doesn't do that, then there's something wrong. That is the economics of education. But actually, the foundation of education originated from the fact that somebody wants to be responsible, a gentleman. It was to educate the mind so that the person will be a gentleman.
The coordinator of World Bible School in Ghana, Mr. Willie Glay, gave an insight into what the workshop seeks to achieve.
Schools should accept this program and use the Bible and the corresponding course as part of their programs of study in the schools to help the children. So by the time they come out of the high schools, they are very well versed with the scriptures, and that will have a changing effect in their lives as children of God.
The workshop will be organized annually for facilitators of the Religious Education Project.
In international news, Kenyan warplanes have shelled some locations in the Bay region of Somalia. None of the local residents were injured in the raid. The Kenyan warplanes have been carrying out frequent attacks on Somali soil after more than 100 of their troops were killed at El Ade location in Gedo region southwest of Somalia by Al-Shabaab fighters. The Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta has vowed to pay back the killing of the Kenyan soldiers in Somalia. Next is the weather report. Thomas. And to wrap up the news, a reminder of our top stories. As crude oil prices continue to crash on the international market, the President Muhammadu Buhari administration has devised strategies to underline its resolve to look beyond oil revenue to implement the 2016 6.04 trillion naira budget. The government is to withdraw the 1% tax on interest for individuals and also reduce the 15% withholding tax on services to 7.5%. The Deputy Finance Minister, Mrs. Mona Kote, disclosed this in Ho. And Kenyan warplanes have shelled some locations in Bay region of Somalia. This is part of a determination to pay back for the killing of the Kenyan soldiers in Somalia. And that's it for news tonight. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good night.